Hi and welcome to another Watch Geek video. We'll continue our journey through the historical squares, and although I would advise you to watch the whole video, in case you don't have the time, make sure to at least watch the last entry, as that one is my favorite unusual square. We'll start this off with the MRG, which were the first all-metal square G-Shocks. Back then, these were considered high-end G-Shocks just as they are today, but they differ greatly from today's all-analog models. The first one is the MRG 110 and 110T. Basically the same watches, with one being made of stainless steel, giving it a very decent weight for a digital quartz at 150 grams, while the T is made of titanium, bringing the weight down to under 90. The module in both is the same, and it has all the basic square functions: a 24-hour stopwatch, a 24-hour countdown timer, and one multifunction alarm. The backlight is the proper modern one, like on the 5600E. These models were released in 1996 and cost at 40,000 yen plus tax for the stainless steel version and 50,000 plus tax for the titanium. For comparison, the regular 5600E that had the same functionality but in a regular resin case was 11,000 yen, so these were almost 5 times more expensive. The lineup continued in 1997 with the MRG 210 and 210T, following the same principle: all-metal construction in both stainless steel and titanium. The movement was changed on these, so now it featured a phone book with memory of up to 20 telephone numbers and an ID function where you were able to store 20 memos with up to 8 characters and 12 digits for each. So you could store your passport number, credit card number, or any other data you don't want to remember. It also had a vital statistics function where you were able to store your personal information, including blood type. Sadly, these memo functions came at a cost, so the watch lost the countdown timer, being left with only a 24-hour stopwatch and one alarm. Then we moved to 2003, when Casio released two of the same models, but with different product codes, as they had slight cosmetic differences. The G5600 was a regular square that now came with solar charging. It also came with both a 100-hour stopwatch and a 100-hour countdown timer, a dual time function, and 5 alarms. This same module was used in the model GL200 that was part of the G-Lite series aimed at surfers. And the only difference between the two, other than the face saying the second one is G-Lite, is the jelly resin on the G-Lite that was slightly transparent. Other variants include the GL230, which is the same module and watch with slightly different looks. They were introduced in the following year, in 2004, and lost the G-Lite inscription on the face while retaining it on the strap. Next we move on to some of the wackiest square models ever. They're on the border of not even being considered squares, but they do deserve to be mentioned here, especially the last model we'll cover. But first, G8000, a model that was introduced in 2005 and featured a square body with a round face. It also has this bulge at the lower right corner of the screen that was actually an LED that flashed to indicate an alarm, hourly chime, or countdown timer reaching 0. Not only did it make it look cool, but it was also practical for people with hearing impairment or if you were found in a very noisy environment. I remember I was very close to getting one of these when they came out, but can't remember why I gave up on buying it. The rest of the functions were impressive as well. So it came with a proper wall time function, a 24-hour stopwatch, and a countdown timer and 3 alarms. The next model is the continuation of this concept, and is the G8100. It has all the same functions as the G8000, but instead of the LED, the light indication on this model was done by lighting up the ring around the face of the watch. This model to me looks even cooler than the 8000. And now we come to the last model we'll cover in this video, and one that I consider one of the best squares ever made. I was and still am in love with this thing for ages, and it's only a question of time when I will be adding it to my collection. It's the G7800. It also features the same light notification as the previous two by using an LED just under the screen. But that's not the main reason I love it so much. It's a combination of factors that make this unique and interesting. The case shape and this metal ring around the face of the watch in combination with a full dot matrix display, give it the most futuristic look of any G-Shock, even today. This thing looks like it came from a sci-fi movie, and I love it. To make sure it doesn't just look advanced, Casio loaded this with one of the best modules ever put in a regular battery-operated G-Shock. So it comes with a 100-day stopwatch. Yeah, you heard me right. The stopwatch can measure up to 100 days with 1/100th of a second precision. That is a 2400-hour stopwatch, and I think that will satisfy anyone's needs. Unlike other G-Shocks, where a large or advanced stopwatch comes at the expense of other functions, this one was exceptional when it came to the rest of the functions as well. So it comes with 2 countdown timers, with one having preset times for a quick and easy setup, like the cooking timer I reviewed. So 1 minute, 3, 5, 10, 15, 30, 45, and 60. While the second one is a 24-hour countdown timer settable down to a second, with auto repeat and with the ability to either stop once it reaches 0 or continue to count up to 24 hours, so you know by how much you overshot your target time. Like that wasn't enough, the alarm function is one of the most advanced as well, as it comes with 5 alarms that are programmable as daily alarms, one-time alarms, or weekday alarms. This is something very rarely found on G-Shocks. On top of that, it comes with a proper world time function. To be honest, even if it didn't come with all these functions, I would still want one just because of how cool it looks. So I still don't understand why Casio discontinued it. Well, that's it when it comes to the discontinued squares. In case you haven't, make sure to check out my other videos, including part 1 of this and the 2-part video on the ones still in production. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and until the next video, bye.